Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Oh, so good. There's something very, very, I don't know, comforting about a warm beverage. Hi, I'm Abby Haggard, and I click on this, and we're back. So, when last we left our hero and heroine, um, I was recording on Thursday, and there was this weird bang crash sound, and so the video ended. Not technically, but something around me. And then I said I was going to try and get back to it. And the whole weekend, everything in my building is in a kind of an upgrading renovation mode, and everything, as often happens, takes a little longer than estimated. So the whole kind of Friday, Saturday, Sunday thing going on was complicated. And I thought, you know what, we can fix this on Tuesday, and here we are. So the first thing I want to say is that I got a notice from LinkedIn that I had 600 and something people checking out the video, last week's video. So thank you. I don't know what they thought of the Thursday one, but thank you. And I'm getting such beautiful, beautiful comments from all of you, and it's very exciting, and it's very important, and it's wonderful to be sharing it with you. And good morning, Daniel, and good morning, Kelly. How are you, beauty? And so Miss Kelly, I'm going to be doing another book launch. I have a project. So cool. So what I want to talk to you about today is really big, and it's really, when you watch a horse race and the horses are coming around the final turn and into the stretch, and that's where we are. That's where we are in this project, and in the midst of coming around the turn. And it's like it's not like the horses can smell the barn, but they can certainly smell. They can certainly sense that this is why we came. They can certainly sense it. Everybody's raging and roaring and yelling and cheering, and the whole thing just gets more and more exciting. And this after, wow, 7 years. 7 years. This is where we are. Good morning, Freddie. Oh, it's so good to see you. So this is where we are. We're rounding the corner. We're in the stretch, and I can see all the people, at the finish line, and I can hear the cheering in the stands. This is so exciting. So for those of you who are just catching up, just joining me, and so we now, just to make sure we all know, I began this on Facebook, and then I, thanks to Billy, figured out how to go to YouTube. And then he explained to me the value of a kind of a broadcasting hub software. And so I added that, and that made it possible for me to be on Facebook and YouTube at the same time. And then over recently, I've been able to, thanks to Billy, add LinkedIn and Instagram and Twitch. So am I properly promoting on all these extra platforms? No, I haven't been, and I'm going to rectify that fairly soon, just as soon as we feed the horses the oats. So what I'm blathering on about is a project that began while the COVID pandemic was causing so much up and down and back and forth confusion. Just before that, I had, yes, oh my gosh, Kelly, you're going to love it. Just before COVID made it very difficult to go and do and be, because of the rules changing all the time, and we don't know what's good and what's bad and what we should and not. So there's a lot of, it was basically almost 4 years of a hesitation waltz, really. And for those of you who have no idea what that is, hesitation waltz is like step, step, pause, step, step, pause, right? That's the hesitation part. So when I first came across this concept, I noticed that people were behaving in a way that didn't make sense to me. Lots of things happen in my life that don't make sense to me, because as a military kid, being uprooted and plonked down in different places constantly always left me feeling like I was lagging on one leg and not entirely sure where my house was and why is everybody wearing kilts. I was out of step on so many levels. And then, of course, you have the added that you're at a new school and you have to get in the step of that and figure out how they're doing what they're doing and how to blend in from what you were doing. And so there's a lot going on. And when it happens repeatedly throughout your childhood, you're always a little uncertain when you're in a new space. As a result of that, I am actually okay with uncertainty. It's not that I like it, it's that I'm familiar with it. And that's part of our conversation today. We get to become okay with things when they're familiar because there are no surprises. And with so many other things going on, Warren, hello, Warren. Good to hear from you. Good to see you. When when we when we're doing things that are familiar, we don't have to constantly think about every step along the way. We don't have to tell ourselves how to actually brush our teeth. Toothpaste, tube, brush. We don't have to walk ourselves through that because we're kind of familiar with it. And in so many cases, we will continue to put up with things that are familiar simply because it's easier, simply because it's a lot of work to do the reset, to go get the different equipment, to find out how it works, to take the time to go through getting it wrong several times, to admit to ourselves and each other that we made a mistake. People don't like to admit that they made a mistake. It's the ego gets in the way. Also, the survival brain, if we make a mistake, it could kill us, right? Back in the day, back in the cave, back in the savannah, it could kill us if we made a mistake. So that brain is not good with mistakes. That brain likes to stay safe. That brain likes familiar. That brain likes predictable. And so it's constantly nudging us in that direction without us realizing it. Because, by the way, subconscious. And we can't tell it to stop. No matter what the motivator people say, you can't tell your subconscious brain anything because it's pre-verbal. You can open your mouth and say whatever you like, and the subconscious brain is going, they're making that noise again. Anyway, I got stuff to do. So it's unhelpful. What does help the subconscious brain, just a quick segue, is that if you are in the right attitude space, attitude is a combination of purpose and passion. If you have both of those things facing in a certain direction, the subconscious brain can pick that up. That's all. So it doesn't matter what you say you're doing, what you say you want to do. You have to have the attitude of it. And I'm not telling you to go get it one. I'm telling you that we all have the attitude. I'm teaching us where we put it. You know how we put stuff away in a safe place and then we can't remember the safe place? This is what I'm teaching. I'm teaching you where you put it and reminding you how you got it the last time. I'm not asking you to do more. I'm asking you to relax, lean back, and do less because we don't need to do more. We are the more, right? This is my push. This is my purpose. So when people are seeing my videos, the difference between what I'm saying and what everybody else is saying is literally a 180. It's literally, you don't chase. You don't pivot to win it. You don't lean in and go. You lean back and attract. Because we're all magnetic. We all have, the law of attraction is magnetic. If we are fascinating, if we trigger curiosity, if somebody says, "Ooh, that's new. When did that open?" That's magnetic. People from that's new don't have to go out on the street with a Nerf bat and bonk you because people say, "Ooh," and they motivate themselves to shift direction and do something unfamiliar. So that's a whole bunch of stuff surrounding what I'm talking about. So for the last several years, coming soon to an Amazon site near you, and a bookstore, and a launch, and all the good events. Yes, Freddie, absolutely. Good morning, Rhea. Good morning. Good to see you. So what we have here is an opportunity to communicate. What we have here is an opportunity to realize that when there is an error, when something goes sideways, it's an opportunity to figure out why and correct it. It's an opportunity to learn and grow. It's an opportunity to add a layer of expertise. It is an opportunity to put a sign up that says, I wouldn't go that way. It is an opportunity to become gooder at what we're good at. And when we get all kerfuffle about, oh my God, I make a mistake, what will people think? That's just the ego. That's just this part of the brain that is all about what will people think, which was also part of the highly volatile emotional reactions during the pandemic. What will people think? What am I doing? Why are they doing this to me? So everything that I'm talking about with you, everything that I have done in my life, everything that has been presented to me as a learning opportunity taught me something I didn't have a name for until recently. And all the way through building Pivotry in Motion, and all the way through all the interviews with the people that I did at the very beginning, all of which I have to do now again because it's been enough years, right? Everything that I was looking at and talking about, and Kelly, you've just said exactly the point I'm about to make. You have timing, my girl. We are either internally motivated, internally focused, internally directed, or we are externally driven, focused, and directed. People who need more input to feel comfortable, input from the outside, people's opinions, safety in numbers, wearing the look, walking that talk. Those are people who derive their sense of safety from external sources. It's very much part of our herd instinct, our tribal instinct. Man is not physically the strongest species, and therefore safety in numbers is the survival math. And what is needed, not necessarily in leadership, although certainly helpful in leadership, but what is needed in self-awareness, in self-direction, in personal growth, in real connection to people at a deep and personal and lasting level, is we also need to be able to validate ourselves from the inside, internally. We have to have the ability to look in the mirror and choose to like what we see, regardless of other people's opinions. Now, I mean, I wake up some mornings and I wander into the bathroom, I turn on the light and I look in the mirror and I go, geez, what happened? While I was asleep, what's that? And then I go about fixing it. Or I try on the summer clothes and discover that the entire closet, the summer part of the closet has shrunk over the winter. And then I think, no, it's not the closet, it's me. And I make my creative decisions. I make my career decisions. I make my relationship decisions. I make all my decisions based on how it feels to be someone like me. How it feels to be female, how it feels to be left-handed, how it feels to be a military brat, how it feels to be an actor, a writer, how it feels to be someone who loves to dance, how it feels to be the product of broken parents whose mental health issues overtook their lives and changed mine, how it feels to be that person looking at the world through those filters. This is what I know. Everything else, everything external, is something I estimate, I guess, I suppose. Because I can't know, I'm not in them. I can't see the world through their eyes. I'm over here. So I begin where I am. And when I do my profiling, when I sit down with a client who wants to rewrite their story, I walk them back through the steps that I take for me. I don't think they're like me, and I don't want them to be like me. I don't want their book to sound or look or read like I wrote it. It's their book. I want to give them the tools that allow them to put their stamp on their process. When you learn a skill, they teach you the fundamentals of the skill itself. We then add our personal touch, our personal flavor, our personal headspace, our personal goals and priorities to mold that skill into something that is valuable to us, to me. That shift from external, and by the way, everything we learn in our early years is externally driven. We learn by mirroring what we see. You know, when we realize that we were taught how to eat, you know, a parent takes a spoon and scoops up some glop and then brings it to us, right? Brings it to us and does this. And the first time we go, what the heck? The second time we mirror it, and they in it goes, what? And we cough and choke, and we say either or bleh, and spit it out. We learn how to eat. We learn how to dress ourselves. We learn how to fall up and down stairs. We learn every single thing we learn by using our external ability to mirror. Once we've learned it, we then go internal and we mold it and adapt it to represent us. The first time I was old enough to go on an overnight sleep, I came back the next day and my parents said, so what was it like? Did you have fun? What was it like? And I said, apparently, they squeezed their toothpaste the wrong way. Because I had learned our way. I didn't know there was another way until I went there. I didn't come back and say, they squeezed their tooth a different way. I assumed it was wrong because ours, of course, would be right. That's given. And over time, as we started going to school, as we were going out in the world, as we were meeting people who come from clearly different families and different habits and behaviors, we get to see all the many different ways that people take a skill, a universally necessary skill, getting food onto and in, and adapt it for their purposes. A spoon is a much better way to eat soup than a fork, for instance. And we would learn that by trial and error. Imagine the first person. Every single thing we do, as we gradually take ownership of it, becomes something that we shape and repeat and practice from our internal perspective. When something falls off the fork all over our freshly cleaned shirt, we don't blame the way our parent or guardian or school person taught us to eat it. We blame us in the moment, or we don't. We say, there's got to be a hole in this spoon. we learn to become self-sufficient, not to the exclusion of having friends, not to the exclusion of getting together with others, but we learn to be self-sufficient. So when we get together with other people, we're not needing them. We're not needy. You need to help me. We're not that. There's perfectly reasonable times to say, you need to help me because I'm broken, because I can't do this. Even if we're not able to say it, we can and we must and we should rely on our friends to hear us and see us and feel us and be there with us, not for us, with us. Because people can't live for us. They can live with us, right? So all of this has been percolating in my brain, percolating and percolating, and defining itself and clarifying itself and adjusting itself and resetting itself. And then, happy instance, I saw a quote. I looked it up. I found that the author of the quote had done a video. I watched the video and I said to myself, and there is the missing piece. There is the missing piece of understanding that I've been looking for. There's been a hole in everything, a little hole. And I've said, I can't publish until I fill that hole. And I found it. And I said, there it is. There is what I have been waiting for. There is the answer to, yes, but why and how? I found it. So having said that, all of the things that had kind of been on hold that I have kept spinning and perfecting and polishing, they now come together because that one missing piece was the linchpin, the hinge point for everything. And I will go into that in more detail as the days progress, because now we really can see the finish line and we really can see this happening. And this really is happening this year. It's 2025. This is the year. It is my 20th anniversary as a publisher. It is it is a great year to be alive. And in this moment, as we look around us, we are seeing the accumulated stress that is not finding a release, building and building and building around us. That is a long intro, but that is what is driving all of these videos, and most especially the one today. Seeing yourself through many filters. Yes, Freddie, and realizing in the first place that the filters are there, and examining the filters and saying, do I still need this one? You're absolutely right. So the theme of the video today is, I'm reading it, why do we stay stuck? And I've answered part of it. I've answered part of it. If we're stuck, it's familiar. No matter how cramped, no matter how inconvenient, no matter how uncomfortable, familiar feels safe. And we go around saying to ourselves, to console our ego, it's not that bad. It's not that bad. No, I'm fine, really. It's not that bad. And when I first started talking about this, I said, every so often I'll go shopping with a friend looking for clothes. I don't usually, because I have a very, I don't want to be distracted, but sometimes. If I ever go into a fitting room to try on something and I come out and I say to my friend, what do you think? And my friend says, it's not that bad. I'm not buying it. I'm, oh, really? Do you think it's okay then? No, it's not okay. It's not that bad. What are you? What are you, crazy? What is wrong with you? As my Brooklyn biker friends would say, you listening to you? I on some days I would wish to go back into the fitting room, take off the offending outfit, and set fire to it. I mean, what? Yes, exactly. So good morning, Jeremy. Oh, it's good to see you. So if it's not that bad, the other way of saying that is it's not good enough. It's not good enough. If it was good enough, it would be fabulous. And it's not, I am enough. No, no, you're not enough. You're everything. Enough means just okay. You write the exam, you get 51. Good enough. Really? Really? So why do we stay stuck? Well, it could be because it's familiar. It could be because we're exhausted. It could be because change feels like too much work and we just like to lie face down on the floor, on the cool kitchen tiles. Or a thing we don't often admit to, we could stay stuck because we like it. And I'm going to explain what that means. When we are stuck, we are able to say, well, there's nothing I could do. Well, how would I know? What that is indulging in, or let's not say indulging, let's say leaning into helplessness as an excuse to take no responsibility for the heavy lifting. If we like to stay stuck, if we are happier, let's even say like, if we prefer to stay stuck, we can blame the externals. Can't blame us. We're stuck. We can blame the externals for every piece of our unhappiness. If we want to stay stuck now, we can blame everything that happened in the past and give all of our power to all those stories that may or may not be accurate anymore, because the more we tell a story, we make the little helpful shifts. Every single one of us, to varying degrees, if we survive past the age of 5, have experienced a trauma of some kind. Some are very small. We didn't know it at the time. It broke our hearts when our goldfish died. It broke our hearts when a baby bird fell out of a tree and didn't make it. It terrorized us when we were raised in a climate of danger and fear and pain and intimidation. And all of those experiences, every single one of them, whether we consciously remember them or not, you could just add a boa. Took the words right out of my mouth, Jeremy. Took the words right out of my mouth. We could. What would we call it? Boanomics? The cure for everything. When we have an unresolved issue, when something happened and we don't know about it, it's always in the shadows and we don't understand why we keep tripping over it. It's like having invisible baggage in the middle of the living room floor and you keep tripping over it and you don't know why. If we can discover what it was that seems to keep popping up and we can actually see it, it's easier to step around it. Doesn't mean we're okay yet. We have to look at it. We have to work at it. Again, if we lean into external influence and we say, they did this to us, they are responsible for everything I am. Not so. Incorrect. Doing a little mom there. Yes, you bet. We are the product of our own decisions and our own actions based on the things we have learned, that we have practiced, that we have polished. We have taken the way somebody taught us to get glop on a spoon and into our mouth. and we have adapted it to our own purpose, to our own style, to our own preferences. My parents were both left-handed, and I'm left-handed. As a result, how they taught me to eat worked well for me because we all were the same dominant-handed. I was able to mirror them more comfortably, more easily. If you're left-handed and the parent is right-handed, it's disorienting because you're using the hand that you're not as comfortable with. Then you adapt. If we take as our guiding posts everything from the outside and we follow that blindly without thinking, without analyzing, without assessing, and without shifting it and making it our own, then when that breaks down, when that falls apart, we have no idea what to do next. We have no clue because we haven't thought about what we would do for us on our terms when we were free to make those decisions. And for a lot of people, most people, it's easier to go along, to get along, rather than think within our box and outside our box and do it our way. It's just simpler. It's easier. Is it as much fun? Is it as challenging? Is it as exciting? I don't know. I've never done it that way. I suspect not. I suspect that when I invent something and it's a spike the ball moment, for the person who has never invented anything, they have no idea why I'm so filled with joy and delight and happy satisfaction. Because I created that. I delivered it. That's mine to own. And now I can share it with pride. I can put my name on it. That's exciting for me because I'm internally driven. What we're going to talk about more as this moves forward is examining how that shift takes place, how we go inward. And I'm going to explain a very interesting physiological thing that happens. This is a brain body thing. If I give you something to hold, and then I give you something else to hold, and then I give you a third thing to hold. See what I just did there? And then I give you a fourth thing to hold. And then I say, I want to give you a fifth thing to hold. And you say, okay, well, just a second. Okay, how many more of these things are? And I say, I'm not done yet. And you say, you're not done yet? Okay, well, hang on a second. Okay. All right. At some point, you run out of things, options, the ability. Good morning. I'm glad you enjoyed the birthday wishes. At some point, you are trying to hold too many things. Physiologically, your subconscious brain says, okay, well, and it drops one of them. It just drops one of them because you keep adding stuff and it can only focus on so many things. So it drops one. It doesn't dither about it, it just drops one and grabs the next one. I have always referred to this when I've been coaching actors. I call it add a layer, lose a layer. And it happens all the time. The brain can only maintain focus on a certain number of things. You can gradually teach it to manage more things. You can remember as a child, a baby is fixated by one thing. It doesn't have any capacity to be fixated on more than that. And then it gradually expands its peripheral and it can see two things. It doesn't know what to do. Right? And you can gradually see the child evolve to be able to see more things. We can only see a certain number of things. That's how the brain is wired. I don't care how much practice you have. We can only see so many things. Keep adding and adding and adding more and speeding up how fast you add them. The brain says, I'm done. and shuts down. How fast is our world, how fast are our lives adding more and more and more information, more ideas, more stuff? How fast? We are now not stopping and savoring information. We're snacking. We're snacking. We no longer taste it. We're just hungry and we're filling a void. We're not appreciating the value. We're not understanding the quality. We're not listening as clearly as we used to. We're not getting the reactions we used to. And we're not enjoying the experience the way we used to, because we're trying to do more than we're capable of doing well. Add a layer, lose a layer. Add a gazillion layers, we drop everything and stand there and burst into tears and go back to bed. And if that's not familiar as an analogy, when this video is done, you just think about how a lot of people are behaving these days. They're in brain fog because the brain is completely overwhelmed. And we don't want silence. We don't want quiet. We don't want to go away. And we're trying too hard to meditate. You know, there's a great cartoon I saw a long time ago as a girl is in the yoga position, got her eyes closed, and she says, "Come on, inner peace, I haven't got all day." That's us today. So this is what and how and why my entire Pivotry in Motion project became so important. I've been an entertainer and a communicator my entire life. I became a professional entertainer and communicator the first time somebody paid me money to show up and do it again for a paying audience. I have written, I have produced, I have performed, I have been invited to work at events, I've been invited to work on stage, radio, television, film, internet, alone with others, live and virtually. My first acting role was in high school. I became a paid performer when I was in my 20s, and I've never stopped. I became a publisher and a professional writer 25 years ago, and I've never stopped. Every single thing I do is dedicated to and derived from our human shared need to connect in a way that elevates our life experience, empowers us creatively as individuals, and gives us a feeling of sanctity and safety and validation. That's what we're all doing all the time. My purpose, my passion in looking at the people who are deeply struggling with mental health issues because they're trying too hard to get back to a place where they felt safe. I refer to it as the last place God made. Everything else was a reject. The last place we felt safe is the underpinnings of the nostalgia entertainment phenomenon. The last place people felt safe, in my personal experience, from what many of the fans say, is that they were in the middle of puberty. They were latchkey kids when you can't do that on television, and the Care Bears suddenly appeared on the landscape. And just as suddenly, all those kids all over the world felt seen, heard, valued, connected, safe with us. What I am doing with my project is I am looking at the grown-ups now who walk around wearing the hat that says, "I'm a CEO." They walk around wearing a hat that says, "I'm the policeman, I'm the doctor, I'm the teacher." I'm looking at all those people who were watching my show when they were in a very important place in their lives. And I am saying, We need to get you back. We need to get you back in the space where that served you. We need to get you back, not multitasking, not running frantically, chasing this and chasing that. We need to get you back to that place where it feels good, where you can open your arms and say, I'm going to watch my show. My favorite character is. My favorite bear is. We're going to get you back to that place where you know who you are. You can see you reflected back to you in these characters that you love. This is why the fan convention industry is exploding. It's in direct proportion to how deeply we all need to feel safe again. How deeply we all need to have that hug we're missing. How deeply we all need to have somebody say, this is how we get glop on the spoon. Now you do it. And let me applaud you when you do it your way. We need that reset. We didn't even know there was a reset button. Nobody showed us. We didn't come with an instruction booklet. We've all been guessing. And for the people who are externally driven, who are externally validated, when all those externals are not comforting us, they're scaring us, they're dividing us, they're pushing us and pulling us. When really we just want to be okay. We want to be safe. We want to be loved. We want to figure out how to go in and say, I got this. We want to be able to go in and have a conversation with our inner child that says, we got this. We're good. Of course we love our friends. Of course we love the fun of going out and connecting and sharing. First of all, we have to love this connection, this understanding, this recognition. When you drop a stone in a pond and it goes boink, and a little droplet comes out. Stone goes in, the water goes boop and makes room for the stone. The impact of the stone is where the stone is. It's us. The impact on us is us. We have an idea. It's our idea. When we share the idea, the next thing that happens with the stone is ripples, waves form because the stone moved the water and you get a ripple effect. Our idea, the fact that we are here, first we're in the water, then we connect outside. We don't connect outside and move in. It's not the way it works. That's not physics. We cannot experience validation from outside until we know it inside. We cannot love anyone else until we learn how to love ourselves. The love stone has to drop inside before the ripples can spread. People who are internally anchored spend time. It's I would say self-care sounds selfish, and I think it's overused. I think what we need to think about is this. Before we can apply we care, it has to begin with me care. It begins with me care, and then we just flip the M. Because once we flip the M, we realize that all of the we begin with me. And everything falls apart when we start to look at the world as me and thee, as self and other. Because we're not other. Do unto others as you would have them do unto you. The thing is, we are the others. We are the others. You look over there at the others, we're in there. That's the trouble with those humans. Oh, wait. Sorry. So the conversation today, why do we stay stuck? And I think there are 3 reasons. The first reason is that it's less work. If we're overwhelmed, it's easier to stay stuck. The second is fear. We don't know what it's like outside the cave. We don't know if we're ready. Even though the cave is too small, we will stay. We will pretzelize ourselves to fit into where we feel safe. Do we like it? We teach ourselves to like it. We teach ourselves that it's not that bad because outside is probably worse. And we don't know that. Well, somebody told me, well, they probably don't know it either. It's an assumption. They opened their mouths and noises came out. They may not be wrong. They may not be right. And the third reason is we don't know how to set ourselves free. So number 1 is safe, comfort. Number 2 is uncertainty. Number 3 is we don't know how. All of those things can be shifted. All we have to be is curious. All we have to do, not chase, all we have to do instead of saying, all we have to do is say, what's that? Because the minute we do, we're ready. We'll have setbacks, we'll hurt ourselves, we'll fall down, we'll get it wrong, and then we'll get it right. The first week of getting back into your exercise routine is an embarrassing collection of sobbing and begging in pain. The whole point is, do we have an end game? Do we want to be stuck forever? Do we want to be pretzelizing ourselves into whatever and put up with the pain and put up with all the things that are no fun at all? I'm working with a brilliant, brilliant individual who is making a many-layered decision to shift priorities and consider working with me. Now, this person doesn't know it yet, but they're so ideally suited to do these things that it's just remarkable. And every step forward, kind of like coaxing a small creature, out into the sunlight, is this sort of, wow, I didn't know I could do that. That's really exciting. Shoulders further back, standing a little taller. Me, yes. And that is what I do all the time in my life. I walk into a space and I make that space feel welcoming. I make the energy welcoming. I choose my emotional and mental and energetic furniture and I place it accordingly. And I invite people to join me. I've done it in my performing, in my writing, in my producing, in my coaching, in my publishing. And I'm doing it now and will be doing it, combining live show, interview, interaction, and training for the people who are ready to say, that really sucks. Just saying, show me this thing. Show me this thing. I'll listen for a little while. Show me this thing. Those are my people. That is my audience niche. And on the back end of that, at the end game, the ripple effect of clarity and confidence and relief and joy, blend all that together, and what you have is an environment that supports greater mental health. When we shift from a life lived reacting to externals, reacting to, that means we have no power. The externals have the power. We are susceptible. We are vulnerable to endless waves of anxiety and worry and anger and fear and confusion and loss. Endlessly susceptible because we are not driving the bus. We have no idea who is, and we have no idea if they're qualified. And that's terrifying. I drove a bus once. I was terrified and I was behind the wheel. Imagine. When we can see, when we can try and succeed in letting go of our white knuckle clutch on externals controlling us, when we can pull ourselves back and listen to us and hear our voice and feel the way we feel and breathe, our life is ours to own. That's what I'm doing. That's what I've done my whole life for me. So I've got a couple of weeks experience at least. That's what I've done in every professional project I've done. And it's what I'm doing now. And just as a quick last, oh my gosh, how awesome. So I have 1, 2, 3 streams of how I'm delivering this. One is with the information, with these videos, with the one-on-ones, with the events. That's one. It's kind of a conversation and training and collaborating and communicating and interacting. That's one, right? The other one is executive level resetting training for the key decision makers who are still just a person on the inside, to give them back the keys to their resilience, to remind them that we are always 1 degree from readiness. We are always 1 degree from our best game. And how we navigate that 1 degree is by training to maintain, by giving ourselves the little habits, giving ourselves the simple wins, giving ourselves the routines. You know, every professional athlete, they're training all the time. They've got to get the basics sleek and slick so that when they go into training and they're adding to that the interaction, the participation, the connection, they got to be good first before they can collectively be great. And a lot of our big decision makers forget that. No, I'm good. I don't need training. I've been an executive for 40 years. Really? When was the last time you upgraded your skills? I'm the CEO. Well, maybe not for long. How happy are you on a scale of 1 to 10? I don't have time for happy. Then it's not working. And then the executive says, huh. And then they hire us and we come in and we give them their tools back. And the third stream that is so incredible that I'm just beginning to announce, because I just got the deals. I got the verbal nod on the proposals. Yes. And so now we're just nailing down the details. Because this is my 20th anniversary as a publisher, I wanted to do something very special for the nostalgia people, because the nostalgia people are the reason our shows were popular and why people still care. And without them, I'm an oil painting. Without the audience, without the participants, it's a rehearsal. Right? There's no show. So I've decided I'm going to be doing an event in July here in Ottawa. It's a small fan event. I love it. This is its 5th year, so it's an anniversary too. So my booth is going to actually be a photo shoot location. So you're going to come in, we're going to boa you up. We've got our photographers, and I do that anyway all the time. But this is special because what we're taking, it's like, when you go for your yearbook picture, right? And you sit, and they take your picture, poof, and then they get your name and everything. Okay, we're doing that. But we're also asking you for your quote. We want you to tell us your definition of unforgettable. So the book is a picture book. Your face, your quote, your name, and whether you're a fan or you're a cosplayer or you're a vendor or you're an honest to goodness celebrity, we're going to have you all in there. We're going to mix and match you all through. So you're, oh my God, I'm next to so-and-so. Artists, gamers, everybody. We're going to do these books. I don't have it right with me. So basically, not quite 8.5 by 11, 7.5 by 9.5, right? And every page is going to be the pictures. And the one for the Ottawa event is the anniversary edition, 2025. And the other deal, we just have said, in principle, we're in, is with a hybrid venture down in the States. Down in the States, they've approached me twice now. It is a Facebook group with over 200,000 members. And it's all about nostalgia entertainment. And the same people are running a talent agency with some really, really solid names from our nostalgia decades. And they want me to do my book concept for those people. So, and because they'll be available for sale on Amazon, probably you can order them to bookstores. The whole idea is we're going to capture you. We're going to make you and your moment a collectible, just like I turned out to be. What does it mean to be unforgettable? In my 10th anniversary as a publisher, I wrote the book on fame. So I could say I wrote the book on fame. I called it Fame the Collector's Edition. I interviewed a whole bunch of my colleagues and my kids. And I asked them what it means to be famous. What it means to be famous is not the same thing as unforgettable. And I wanted to dig deeper now because everyone wants to be unforgettable. Everyone wants to matter. Everyone wants to be part of something that makes a difference. And we are going to celebrate that. And that's just the tip of the iceberg. We just put that out. We just got the responses back. I'm working with a photographer who specializes in cosplay. And I said, let's talk about your roster of people. We might want to think about something special to do with them, something different. And he said, yeah, I can't wait. So our first event, the event in Ottawa is called FanaticCon Ottawa. And it's on the 20th of July, which is a Sunday. And it runs from 10 in the morning until 5 in the afternoon. And all the other stuff that's going on all day, all the things you normally do at a fan event, when you come to my booth, we're getting you in a book. We're getting you in a book. We're getting you ready to be part of a publication that celebrates who we are. And not only that, I'm so grateful that you're going to do it. You're going to help me elevate who we are. That I've got because when you are the publisher, I can get publisher rates on books. And so I'm going to be able to give all of my participants the publisher rate for their copy of the book, which is very cool. So, and then later in this year, and Kelly, this is the thing I was alluding to, in November this year, I'm going to do the combined launch here in Ottawa. And I'm going to figure out, because I have tech friends who know things I don't, figure out how to broadcast it, figure it out to share it with the people down in the States who are part of the other project, so that we just have with this one massive party pre-Christmas. It's our nostalgia event that is bigger than all the other events in our lives because it celebrates who we are and who we always have been and will be. And that's what really matters. Is that exciting? So back to the theme very quickly. We're almost at 11 o'clock. Why do we stay stuck? I'd like your comments. I think that a lot of us stay stuck because we can't begin to imagine how amazing it would be to fly free, to step into flow, to let all the stress go. And I think it's up to us to show them and then welcome them when they're ready to step through the door. What do you think? I'm going to be back on Thursday, with something else awesome. I'll talk more about the project. In the meantime, all the rhetoric that's going on, when you look at it now, to keep yourself grounded, you look at all the rhetoric, ask yourself, is that internal or external? Are they mimicking and mirroring each other, or are they anchored in themselves? You tell me how many of the loud people are just echoing each other. How many of the other people have their own thoughts and their own perspective and their own lives and goals? Check into it. So you know the drill, right? Be good to you. Be good to you. You deserve it. And remember to hug your loved ones because they deserve it too. Thank you so much for watching. You mean everything. You are the reason these are videos, right? So this was 366A because I didn't complete 366. I'm making up for it because I'm allowed to make mistakes and correct them. That's the way Vikings roll. And I will catch you next time. Thanks for watching.